All right, here we go. His favorite pastime.
With Nigel and Jose.
This was released March 16th, 1914.
There's Fatty Arbuckle and Charlie Chaplin. Now, I want you guys to notice something about the scene. I could be mistaken, but this looks like the exact same scene Chaplin uses in his film The Vagabond. I believe it was, what, 1916, 1917?
It's true, with the musicians running through.
Yeah. So you see a lot of these scenes being used again. Which...
No, I mean, that was obviously a different studio and a different set, but I'm sure at that point in time Charlie had complete control, so he could have had that set built to these specifications, because this is the way he liked to work.
Here's Fatty Arbuckle.
Or it could be a coincidence, one of the other.
Fatty Arbuckle looks pretty horrible here.
This is after a bender the night before.
Now, look at the gag that he's doing here, trying to sneakily steal that beverage. It's something you see the Tramp do a lot in later films.
Yeah, I've never seen an Arbuckle play a tramp like this, or a bum. Usually he's an upper echelon type.
You know, it's almost like the roles are kind of switched here. As if the Tramp should be the one begging and
That's true.
Look at the finesse way, the way he drinks that cup.
I've had enough of this. Yeah, I guarantee you that's the same costume that Chaplin has worn since he donned the Tramp character. It looks exactly the same, you know?
Since Kid Autorace invented.
Look at the belt on Arbuckle.
It's pretty amazing.
That lets you know a guy's down on his luck when his pants are higher than his belt is. It's the absolute opposite of the what the rap community would have you they'd have you wear your clothes these days.
Well,
there's a lot of
using the celery to wipe his hands. That's pretty reassuring. You know what? I almost wonder if this is an actual bar he might have gone back to later on to make this film in.
No, I'm pretty sure it was different. I mean, that was 2 years later at Mutual. There's a character in blackface over there behind Charlie. You don't see that very often in his films.
Or anymore.
1849. That's probably a real building. I guarantee you it is.
Uh-oh, here we go.
This film's a little worse for wear than some of the others.
It's not a real popular one either. Not one you hear about a lot.
No, I don't know who this actress is. Peggy Pierce, apparently is her name, according to the book I'm referencing from is called The Films of Charlie Chaplin. It was written by
or edited
by Gerald MacDonald. It's from like the 60s, so there could be some inaccuracies here, but overall it's pretty accurate.
What did that sign say there?
That guy looks like Maxwell DeMille from the Cicada Club.
Shout out.
My check is in the mail.
You see, this film is almost like chaotic in a sense. They're kind of building a storyline here. Of course, the Tramp is drunk here.
It's very possible that Charlie could have co-directed this one, because by this point he was starting to get a little more footing in that area. Even if he's not listed as the director, doesn't mean that he didn't help direct parts of it.
He's definitely the star of this one already.
This one, according to this, was directed by George Nichols. Kind of interesting here. This guy looks a little bit like the bully and the kid.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You know, with the funky ears.
Which you have to think. I mean, Chaplin definitely looked back at a lot of these older things and really started taking from him.
There's always a guy who's bigger than him, you know, stronger than him.
Pulling him around, beating him up. If you notice in this film, the film quality seems to be going up and down, up and down, up and down.
That's because this is one of the ones that probably is harder to find.
Whoa.
Once again, you very rarely see Chaplin interacting with blackface characters. Outside of this film, I can't think of any other film that he does this in.
Now, tell me if that doesn't look familiar to you. We see Chaplin do that in 2 films. You see him do that in the beginning of Making a Living, begging for money. Usually he's the other one. He's the one getting stiffed. His
hair's pretty crazy.
That is the 1914 equivalent of a shower.
It's a Mexican shower, isn't that what they call it? Washing up in a sink.
No offense. I'm Hispanic, ladies and gentlemen.
So these people here don't look familiar to me.
Again, that's why I'm guessing this might be a legitimate bar they might just be at. Now here's a woman in blackface. First time I've ever seen that.
It's true. Look how high that guy's pants are. That guy's putting whiteface on, it looks like. A cute,
I think he was washing his face.
Oh, that's right, okay.
Which I've never seen anybody go do that at all. What's that on the bathroom? Oh, do you see the blackface makeup on the,
that could be from Chaplin's makeup, too. That's definitely a blackface gag there.
Which Fred, I think this is the only time in Chaplin film history that we see blackface gags going on.
The burnt cork being used, yeah, it's very cool. Actually, there was a blackface actor in A Night in the Show, an SNA film. He's in the audience when Chaplin is causing a ruckus on the stage. He's one of the audience members.
Which I wonder if he did that if having a black person in a film at this time was very...
Yeah,
Well, because we see...
It was a very uncomfortable time with that.
Well, we see in 1921 in The Kid, there's a little black boy in the film.
That's true.
Who comes to deliver the flowers, setting up provisions. Which, one thing you'll learn about Chaplin if you become familiar with his biographies, that Chaplin stood for equal justice. Chaplin really fought for rights and equality among the races, and which really was one of his inspirations for doing a film like The Great Dictator, was to speak for the Jewish people.
That's true. I mean, you know, at the same time, where Chaplin came from, poverty-stricken London, you know, he
stood for the underdog.
Oh yeah, he came from the absolute lowest part of society, and he was actually homeless and as a child, and you know, he was in the workhouses and everything.
He really tried to make an effort to really reach out to his roots in these films.
And he never forgot where he came from either. He never did.
And to add to that, in being about the people and fighting for the people, Chaplin really spends a lot of the actors that he uses, especially in the Mutual films and the SNA films, the First Nationals, a lot of the same actors throughout the years. He was loyal. One of the things that we talk about a lot is he had Edna Purviance on his payroll till the day she died, even though she stopped making films for him in, was it 1921?
1923 was A Woman of Paris.
Yeah, the last film she made.
And after that, she was no longer in his films, but he kept her on the payroll till, I think, the late 50s when she passed away. So every week or every 2 weeks she got a check from Charlie. Which is
an interesting quality about Charlie Chaplin. He never became one of these stuck-up famous rich people, but was always a voice for the underdog.
Well, some people would disagree with that, but there's a lot of controversy there. But I personally think that Charlie never forgot where he came from. Well, he's one of the most loved men of the century and one of the most hated, depending on who you talk to.
Manchester Avenue.
I
wonder if that was just a real live train going on there that he just kind of jumped on.
When I was at the Barnes & Noble one time, we were sitting in the coffee shop, and I somehow got into this conversation with Chaplin and with this gentleman who was at the coffee place. Charlie, the older guy, Charlie Chaplin, you know, he was a communist and this and that and the other, and he deserved whatever came to him, this and that. And I remember a couple minutes later, the guy started choking on his coffee. It's like, that's what you get. Chaplin from the grave. That didn't help him.
He's at a stranger's house here, folks.
He burned his bridges with me, that guy.
What a loss.
This looks like the staircase from The Adventurer. A little bit.
It's one of the...
Chaplin puts his hat on the statue.
Guys, here's a very popular Chaplin gag, is him not being able to make it up the stairs.
1 a.m. 1 a.m.
Again,
right there.
Which, of course, we've made several references to already in some of the movies, like the one we saw right before this one.
Very true. So everything that Chaplin would do later on, there are hints of it in these Keystone films, which makes these really, really fun to watch.
And again, it's the development of a character. It's almost like he's accidentally running into the character.
Hey, look, it's the umbrella from Between Showers.
Notice the film quality here is a lower film quality. Obviously one that...
this looks like it's from about an 8mm. Yeah. It's Whistler's mother, ladies and gentlemen.
And Mr. Bean and Whistler's mother.
Yeah, this is obviously from either an 8mm print or 16mm print. Because that's probably all that exists from this time period.
Again, these guys that went to work to restore these films really did an amazing job. Uh-oh.
Yeah, David
Chaplin was pretty mortified there.
Chow please.
Getting beat down.
The original Medea.
The original Medea.
Medea goes to jail.
Got a po-po, Chaplin.
Oh, you know, Charlie, that's happened a lot. Those shaking of his head. Charlie's almost like, these early films, it's almost like a cartoon. It's almost like a live-action cartoon.
Looney Tune.
You know, when they were making the original Mickey Mouse cartoons and the original Warner Brothers Merry Melodies and Bugs Bunny, these were definitely inspirations for those. Because, you know, in cartoons, it's all about emoting, it's all about pantomime, it's all about motion and movement. And Charlie was, who better to go to than these films?
I remember I think it was an old Looney Tune cartoon. They were in a theater and there's a cartoon, there was a cartoon of a cartoon character of the Tramp.
Of Tramp? Oh yeah. Well, Disney did that a lot too. Chaplin was in a lot of, a couple of Mickey Mouse cartoons. Because Mickey Mouse was like a celebrity in his own right, and Mickey Mouse would have like a polo tournament with the other celebrities of the day, like Chaplin and Laurel and Hardy and Groucho Marx.
Because I think George Carlin said it best. You know why nobody takes this country serious? Because we take a day out of the year to celebrate the birthday of an imaginary rat. I just thought I'd say that.
Oh, that staircase, that house there is very familiar.
Like Mabel's Strange Predicament?
That looks like it's the same one that was used in Cruel, Cruel Love, which we haven't gotten to yet, but...
This actor here looks like Sacha Baron Cohen.
This looks like the original Borat.
Is that the tie that Harry Potter uses?
This close-up is very similar to the end of Film Johnny. Oh, and that's the end.
I hope you guys enjoyed.